Namaste, my friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and today I'm going to share with you 5 things I think you should know about the August Ascension energies here in 2018. There has indeed been a very big and noticeable shift in tone. You might have noticed July was fast-paced, a lot of movement, almost like the wind has been at our backs to such an extent that we are struggling to keep our feet going with the new pace being set for us. A lot of rearranging, transforming, big changes all taking place in July. And we did our best to keep our balance and to stay, centered throughout this abrupt change in speed, but it's not easy. Yet, at the end of the day, who we are now versus who we were on July 1st, it's like we're different, our life is different, our ideals, our priorities, our goals and directions all change, all shaken up quite nicely by the eclipse energy. And now it's like it's relaxed a little bit. There doesn't need to be such a furious pace. And yet, because we've been kind of going at that pace for a little while now, you might find that you're still feeling that way. You haven't yet wound down and re-centered, come back in to balance and inner harmony. And unless we can do that, we won't be able to continue going forward. So that's what August is about. It's about shifting the focus from our life to ourselves, bringing it back into more of a theme of self-development, self-mastery, self-healing, self-balance, self-remembrance. There's a lot that lies ahead, but we need to be firing on all cylinders if we are to become the people we are destined to become. So August is very much needed and welcomed energy where you'll come into it maybe feeling a bit frazzled from July, and yet we'll leave it feeling rebalanced, but just better, more like just more in harmony, less stressed out. So I'm very excited for August, and I'm very anxious to get into this video where, again, I'll share with you 5 things. Before I do, if you're brand new to my channel, let me say what's up to you. Welcome. It's a blessing to have you here. And if you're new, I have a gift for all of my new subscribers. It's a guided meditation that I made myself, solely created for people who are going through the spiritual awakening process. It's designed to help you heal yourself, to come into your own mastery with your own ability to heal blockages and alter your state of awareness. It's free. I made it myself. Check it out down below at the very top of the description box. And with all that said, I will now get into point number 1. Number 1, I wrote down prioritizing happiness because it's smart. What I mean by that is you might find that you really can't go forward in your life's progression. You can't continue on your journey in the way you want to if you neglect yourself too much. And there was some of that going on in July, and I don't know if I could have done any better. I feel like I did my best, and still I found myself getting lost in all the comings and goings in my life. But that can't go on indefinitely. We must prioritize our happiness, because your happiness, making time for your joy, making time to do things, to take time for yourself that produce the feeling of that childlike joy, that's like what fills you up. We're all running on empty, and it's cool. We sometimes you got to go on fumes if you got to get somewhere quick, but we're going to run out of gas here soon. And the way we fill up our tank is by making ourselves happy. So what makes you happy? It could be something very small. It could be some like mild thing. Like for me, what comes to mind, what came to mind when I was writing this, when I was a child, like 10 or 12 years old, going through the typical adolescent kind of issues, I would always find solace in listening to rock and roll music in my room and drawing. I was always a decent drawer, and I would literally get lost for hours just in the music, in my creation. It was enough to keep my mind occupied, but at the same time, my mind could kind of wander and sort things out. But nonetheless, during that whole time of me drawing, I felt good. It was a way to really reconnect with myself. So you might find this important for you. If you find you're running into roadblocks, maybe prioritize your own happiness a little bit more, and you might be surprised at what happens when you refill up with the vitality, the essence, the inspiration that is you. Number 2 is you might be doing a little bit of upgrading in your life. I wrote down retrograde, upgrading, which kind of has an interesting progression that might not always make it seem initially like you're getting an upgrade. It might seem like you're running into a lot of complications and pain in the butt problems. I'll give an example. So a lot of, as you could imagine, my livelihood depends on an internet connection, right? Well, for a long time, the hotspot to my iPhone has been really fast and reliable. I do live streaming every week for my coaching group, and it's very important I have clear connection. I do Skype sessions all the time. And randomly, my plan was changed to where all of a sudden I don't have unlimited data. So I run out like that. So I was like, I have these big things coming up. There's an important interview on Thursday and a couple other things that I need the internet. And I was like, oh man, this is unfair. I was getting frustrated initially, but that led me to seeking alternatives. And now I have this new cable, this new company coming out, Cox Cable, with this insanely fast internet, an internet speed I've never even knew existed, some crazy speed. So it was this huge upgrade. It's gonna make everything I do a lot easier and smoother, but it initially came into my lap as a problem, and I reacted with a temporary bout of frustration. But I've learned that whenever problems come, there's always a seed of an equivalent positive outcome that can result from every problem. And in this case, it's a massive upgrade in my internet connection, which might not mean anything to you, but to me, it's a fundamental aspect of like my livelihood. So it's kind of a big upgrade for me. So if you find yourself running into little snags and problems, always look, how could I benefit from it? If you can go in with that positive optimism, you might find that you're just being upgraded and that problem is really a blessing in disguise. Number 3, it's a great time to put a little bit of energy into your own health and fitness. Now, this is such a broad topic, and it means different things to different people. So everybody has a fluctuating degree of health and wellness and fitness. And while some people might not feel inspired to go and train for a marathon, maybe you feel inspired to go out for a walk and just getting your joints moving and the blood flowing and the oxygen filling up your lungs. You have you invite a new degree of youthfulness and vitality and rejuvenation into your physical body, which very well might be a bit achy and tired and out of sync a little bit due to the intense eclipse energies we just came out of. So you might just find yourself feeling naturally inspired to take action in certain directions that again are going to be very individual for you. What I've been doing is typically I will work out hard in the gym with weights 3 days a week, 3 strength training workouts, but I'm finding that I'm getting kind of tight, kind of rigid. So on my off days, I've been jump roping and shadow boxing and doing yoga and stretching and foam rolling, more of like active recovery, but it's been helping my body feel a lot better. I feel like I'm in better shape, and it tunes me in, and it just feels very appropriate. There's a natural excitement to do that rather than a guilty feeling causing me to say I need to be doing this. So don't allow that typically to guide your action steps. Let your excitement guide you. And if you feel enthused to join that gym or something, and maybe you feel a bit apprehensive, you don't feel like you can fit it in, if you have that excitement, it's meant to be for you and will benefit you if you just follow it up with action. Number 4, as I mentioned in the beginning, there's a huge shift in tone from blasting forward to coming back and turning within. Not only to heal yourself on a physical level and to balance yourself mentally to avoid your typical human stresses, but also to rekindle your relationship with your inner being, with your spirit. Even though we have been temporarily somewhat disconnected to an extent in July because of all of the action, we actually have grown significantly spiritually and opened up to a whole new level. And if you can follow that guidance and get in maybe a little bit better shape, fill your body with just goodness, love, time, joyful activities, healthy foods, maybe a bit of exercise, you'll find that your spiritual senses might activate to a whole new degree, a whole new clearness of connection. This is very, very important because of what I'm about to say in number 5. It's very important this month that you prioritize your own self, your own vitality, your own healing, your own connection, because you can be now connected at such a high level, and they're all the things you want, all the things you feel you came to do in this life are now available to make themselves known to you, but it will depend on your ability to reconnect, which might be a bit of a challenge because there's been such a momentum in this frenetic pace, but make yourself do it, because number 5, you might find if you do this even a little bit, your purpose, the next phase and chapter of your life might start to call to you. It might start to reveal itself to you in not so subtle ways and fairly obvious, like, I know I'm to do this now, or at least soon, in the coming winter months perhaps. Your purpose will start to call to you. It's time for you to do what you came to do. At least one element of that. And the way this is playing out for me, kind of ironically as a perfect sort of a case in point, at least for my own life, to justify this whole reading, is the first day earlier, a few days ago, when I started to do that new workout routine I was saying. It was a Saturday, I believe, and I was jump roping outside and shadow boxing and feeling great. Had the music blast, and I felt like reconnecting. It was kind of a mix of helping my body as well. That was very fun for me. My family was at the gym. I had this time to myself. My dog was chilling. It was a beautiful time, and I had this remembrance of this. I saw this psychic in Sedona, this woman Jennifer, and she told me that, she said, I got to write a book. She said, you're going to write a book? And at the time she told me this, maybe 3 or 4 months back, I was like, nah, I kind of brushed it off. I really felt that was not the smartest time to be writing a book. I have too many matters sort of at the forefront. And she said, you can tell she was persistent. She's like, okay. I didn't convince her. She said, what if I told you that by the end of the year, you would have a book written? I said, really? Have a whole book written by the end of the year? This was like last, June when I saw her or something. She said, yeah. And I was just thinking about that, right? I was thinking about that story in my mind as I was jump roping or shadow boxing, and I felt this like, I started like tearing up. That's how sometimes spirit communicates with me. I get choked up, like seeing a sad scene in a movie or something. I felt very choked up. And it was like, it's my way of validating what's going on in my head, but it was at a new intensity. It was very obvious that this knowing welled over me that, Victor, there's a book that wants to come through, and you're going to write this book. So that's how it kind of came through for me. Again, not so subtle. It was very obvious. I can't deny what's being, in a sense, asked of me by my inner being, which has been able to come through clearly because I've been sort of doing these things I've been suggesting in this video, okay? So it's a very, very important month to rebalance and to hear the call for your next phase, the next phase of your life, which every time I've taken action on the guidance from Spirit associated with my mission, you could say, I have been overwhelmed with the results of doing so on all levels. It's a very joyful, it just feels whole and right, and all the things I've been searching for in my life are found in finding my own path. And a lot of you, even if you felt lost for a while and maybe felt like things weren't really adding up to anything, and you're wondering, like, when is this payoff going to go down? The payoff might not be the financial abundance you think you need right now or the soulmate swooping in. It's going to be the feeling of connection with your sense of purpose that will fill you up so massively. I can't even explain how good it feels. And then from that, being swelled up with your own spirit, all the reflections that you want and you think you need will just be there. So I'm very happy about this month, my friends, and I hope you are as well. It's a nice change of tone. I could use some R&R myself. I'm sure you can as well. Nonetheless, it's been fun chatting with you and hanging out with you. I really sincerely hope you're doing well. And if you're not, I know it's probably what you need anyway, and it's all for the greater good, and you know that as well. Okay? So have an amazing day. Have a beautiful and productive and rejuvenating month, and we will be in touch very soon. Namaste.